When I was 18, I joined the church and began attending an institute class. We had an awesome teacher. His name was Brother Chapman. He just was really able to speak to me. It helped me to grow my testimony in those early months in membership to the church. How he spoke just was, he always filled it with humor. He always was able to engage my attention and help me to understand the gospel principles that were so new to me. On one occasion, he shared with us a really important principle that has stuck with me ever since I heard it with him. He explained that as a result of us growing up in the world, that there are certain things that we accept as truth but are falsehoods. And that in order for us to be able to truly overcome the world, we will need to search out these falsehoods that we've accepted as truth, and we have to change them and overcome them. This principle has stuck with me ever since then, something I always refer back to. And what I'm going to explain now is how I really made the discovery of how to apply that principle in my life. Some of the challenges that I face as I've studied and as I've spoken with other people about this principle, and also what I did to apply them and how it has affected me and how it has changed me. It wasn't until I was serving as a full time missionary, about 6 months into my mission, that I really discovered how this principle applies to me. I was speaking with one of my ward mission leaders for the housekeeper, and he explained that he finds it really difficult to understand how other couples fight, how they argue, and how they just really have at ends with each other. He explained that him and his wife Holly, they never argue. They have disagreements, sure, but they never fight, they never argue, they never yell at each other. And as he explained that to me, my mind was immediately brought back to what Brother Chapman taught me as a new member of the church. That there are these falsehoods that people believe because me, I was surprised by his statement. I grew up, my parents are divorced, my sisters have at least been divorced once, uh, family, cousins, everyone growing up, and obviously just the culture of marriage these days, it's riddled with divorce. The divorce rate is really, really high. And so I just accepted that divorce and arguing and fighting was part of marriage. But I learned at this point, with the help of Brother Chapman and Brother Housekeeper, that that was a falsehood. That was something that I believed was true, that I never even thought to question, but it wasn't true. And I discovered this, and it has helped me so much. And of course, through our discovery, there's always challenges. And so some of the challenges that I faced in studying, trying to find material, trying to find prophetic reassurance of this principle, uh, it took a lot of time, took a lot of searching. Finally, I was able to find some pieces that really helped me to understand, helped me to grow my understanding of it, that really affirm my testimony that arguing does not need to be part of marriage. On one occasion, I was talking to my friend Caitlin before watching a CBS Fireside, and we were talking about how her view was that people need to argue in order to grow, in order to, become closer to each other. And I was explaining that it's not necessary that arguing you don't need to argue in order to better yourself in that way. That you can talk respectfully, full of love, and still obtain equal, if not better, results in your marriage. And it just so happened President Oscar in that fireside we were watching explained the exact same thing, talking to um, uh, a young sister that just recently married and he was the president. And so before I got married, when I was talking to my wife, we my wife to be, we made the decision that we would not argue. That it's something that would be difficult, but that as we pray and as we seek to understand each other better than to be understood by each other, as we are humble and seek charity in our relationship, that we won't need to argue, that we can express ourselves in a way that will help us to gain this mutual understanding, where we can grow in our love and not have to go through fighting, arguments, or anything like that. And so we apply these principles, we were able to overcome that. And to this day, we've been married almost 2 years and we've never argued once. It's because our mutual faith in Jesus Christ and because of our desire not to argue, not to create that environment for our children when they get here. And we've been practicing it for a couple of years and have a baby on the way. We're very confident that we can continue bad way.